For 15 years, I gave everything to this company. I was Mark, the guy who always stayed late, the one who treated every project like it was my own. I wasn't just an employee, I was part of the foundation. Or so I thought. The company was my life, my second family. My boss, Mr. Harrison, used to call me his right-hand man. We built this place from a small startup into a market leader. I remember the all-nighters, the sacrificed weekends, the milestones we celebrated together. It felt like we were invincible. Then, about a year ago, things started to change. Harrison brought in his nephew, a kid named Leo. Leo was fresh out of college with a business degree and an ego the size of the building. He was given a fancy title, Director of Innovation, which basically meant he walked around pointing out things he didn't understand and calling them outdated. He'd stroll past my desk, glance at my work, and smirk. "Hey Mark," he'd say. "Still doing things the old-fashioned way, huh? We've got apps for that now." I'd just smile and nod, bearing my frustration. I tried to be a mentor to him, to show him the ropes, the nuances of our industry that you can't learn from a textbook. But he wasn't interested in learning. He was interested in climbing. The whispers started a few months later. Closed-door meetings I wasn't invited to. Sudden changes in project direction without my input. My team members would look at me with pity. They knew something was up, but no one dared to say a word. The atmosphere grew cold. Harrison, the man who once shared lunches with me, now barely made eye contact. He'd walk past my office, his pace quickening, avoiding any chance for conversation. The signs were all there, like a storm gathering on the horizon. I wasn't naive. I started preparing. My role involved managing all of our major client accounts. Over 15 years, I had built personal relationships with every single one of them. They didn't just trust the company, they trusted me, Mark. They knew I'd go to bat for them, that I understood their needs inside and out. These relationships were the company's most valuable asset, though Harrison and Leo were too blind to see it. They saw clients as numbers on a spreadsheet. I saw them as partners. So, I started documenting everything. Every email, every contract, every special arrangement I'd ever negotiated. I compiled a comprehensive file on my personal drive, a detailed history of my value to the company. The day it happened was a Tuesday. It was clinical, almost insulting in its brevity. I was called into Harrison's office. Leo was there, leaning back in a chair with a smug look on his face, like a cat who'd finally cornered the mouse. Harrison couldn't even look me in the eye. He mumbled something about restructuring and new directions. He said my position was being made redundant. 15 years, reduced to a 5-minute meeting. He pushed an envelope across the desk. "This is your severance package," he said. "We appreciate your service." Appreciate my service? It was a slap in the face. Leo just sat there, silent, his grin widening ever so slightly. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just stood up, took the envelope, and said, "I understand." I walked back to my desk, packed my personal belongings into a small box, and walked out. The entire office was silent, watching me go. I could feel their sympathy, their fear. They knew if it could happen to me, it could happen to any of them. As I walked out the door for the last time, I didn't feel sadness. I felt a cold, calculated calm. They thought they had won. They thought they had gotten rid of the old dinosaur. They had no idea they had just handed me the keys to their downfall. The next morning, I didn't sleep in. I was up at 6 a.m., just like any other workday. But instead of driving to the office, I sat down at my home computer and began making calls. I started with our biggest client, a company we'll call Innovate Corporation. I'd known their CEO, Sarah, for over a decade. I explained the situation calmly and professionally. I told her I was starting my own consulting firm and that I would be honored to continue working with her. I didn't badmouth my old company. I didn't need to. Sarah knew my work ethic. She knew who had been solving her problems for the last 10 years. By the end of the call, she said, "Mark, wherever you go, we go. Send me the paperwork." One by one, I called every single client on my list. The story was the same every time. They weren't loyal to the company name. They were loyal to the person who had delivered results for them, year after year. They were loyal to me. Within a week, I had secured commitments from over 80% of my former company's key clients. They were all jumping ship. My new consulting firm wasn't just a startup anymore. It was an instant industry player, built on the foundation of trust one had spent 15 years laying. The fallout at my old company was catastrophic. News travels fast in our industry. Their phones started ringing off the hook, but it wasn't new business. It was clients calling to terminate their contracts. Harrison and Leo were in a panic. They tried to salvage the relationships, but they didn't have the personal connection. Leo tried to offer discounts and new deals, but he couldn't answer the clients' detailed questions. He didn't know their history. He didn't know their business. He only knew spreadsheets, not people. I heard through the grapevine that Harrison tried to sue me, claiming I had violated a non-compete clause. But he forgot one crucial detail. During a contract renegotiation 5 years prior, I had insisted on a clause that voided the non-compete if I was terminated without cause. He had signed it without even reading it properly, eager to keep me happy at the time. His own carelessness was his undoing. His lawsuit was dead on arrival. The legal fees only added to his growing financial disaster. Within 6 months, the company that had been my life for a decade and a half was a shadow of its former self. They had to lay off half their staff. Their stock price plummeted. The new direction Leo was so proud of led them straight off a cliff. Harrison was forced to sell the company for a fraction of its former value, just to cut his losses. And Leo? He was the first one to be let go by the new owners. The director of innovation was out of a job. Today, my consulting firm is thriving. Many of my old, talented colleagues who were let go during the collapse now work with me. We've built a new culture, one based on respect, loyalty, and a genuine commitment to our clients. It's the kind of company I always dreamed of working for. Sometimes, I think about Harrison and Leo. I don't feel anger or even satisfaction. I just see it as a business lesson. Never underestimate the people who built your foundation. Loyalty is a two-way street, and the relationships you build are your most valuable asset. They thought getting rid of me was a simple cost-cutting measure. They didn't realize they weren't just firing an employee. They were demolishing the very pillar that held their empire up. And I was there to catch the pieces. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've ever felt undervalued or overlooked, remember that your skills and relationships are your own. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories. See you in the next one.